So I entitled this recording in my own personal library as Whining Baby. It's kind of funny, but you'll see why. This is the Or for Wool. Wait, Wool for Or? What is it called? It's the game where obviously there's low or, and it's a specific board that is set up, and it's very popular. It seems to be popular on Catan universe for 3-player mode. So I randomly just played a match, and it stuck me with 3 players. I'm finding that I'm getting less matches. Sometimes it's hard to get a match. I don't know if it's because I have a higher point or higher elo or whatever. So at any rate, this seems to be the common starting positions. The 8-10-4 with the double wheat, and also grabbing a nice sheep, since those sheep ports are always very nice. So I usually end up trying to block the sheep port by taking at least that 9-8-3, because the 8-3 sheep port is a pretty nice companion starting point for both of those beginning positions. So I go ahead and I usually try and block it by starting there, 9-8-3, and I also like getting the best wheat on the board, not allowing that position to be available. The 8-12 is usually not going to be a good spot to partner with any setup, especially on a 3-man board. And I like the 5-5, the double 5 partnering for a road. Although the 5 wood is a blocking target, if you're able to defend against the one player that's trying to block that 5 wood, you should be able to get a lot of roads. So, and that can allow you to do a lot of things. If you're able to really expand with lots of roads, then you can really annoy a lot of people. So right off the bat, I've got myself a road, got myself a second road with that 5, and 2 roads in hand. It's pretty nice. It allows you to do a lot of things. I would have liked to get an 8 already. Could have got myself a road settlement. So let's see if I can get a wheat right off the bat. I'll just see if I can. The only thing I can offer is 1 sheep. Very unlikely that these two are willing to trade their wheat yet, even though they do have 1. 10 was just rolled. And they decide not to. They both have a good opportunity to get sheep. They have 8, 6, or even a 4 as potential. So what should I do here? I don't want to lose this spot, and I thought I went ahead and added this extra road. 1, to ensure myself that red is not going to sneak and get the settlement before me. But 2, it allows me to threaten him by potentially building 1 more road to cut off his extra expansion right there. So lucky for him, he rolls a 7. And he does already have a road in hand since the 10 was rolled. So it doesn't, it forces him to build this to block that. I'm sure that probably wasn't his first expansion opportunity. He might have wanted to go down to a port, or maybe he wanted to go to the 10-9-3 wood and double wood and brick. So a knight is played, and the 5 is blocked, obviously, with the 5s being the double 5 being so powerful. This Ducky Young orange really wanted to make sure that is not going to be an easy an easy place to grab resources and to expand my road building. So it's a good way to slow both of us down, slow our progress. I'm still getting lots of wheat. So he trades in, gets himself a little bit closer. So now I'm just waiting for a 5. Luckily, because my 5 was blocked with the wood, now all I need is a brick anyway. So we're all kind of waiting around right now. Not a lot of trading going on. Not really much to trade. So it's a matter of getting the lucky dice. 7 is rolled. Okay, I know Mr. Red is the only one with brick. So I go ahead and block the wheat and wheat. But I don't want to give away that I'm attacking him solely, even though he does have the only good stuff right now. Let's see if he'll trade away his brick, which I know he won't. Should I tell him that I'm... This is the difficulty is I don't usually like to show what I'm interested in trying to get. The only reason I'm doing this is because Ducky Young, I don't want him attacking me for some reason if he is mistakenly thinking that I have a brick as well. I know he needs bricks. I know Red is the only one with a brick in hand. I would have been happy trading for a wood for a wheat as well, but I decided not even to make the offer to give away what is in my hand, because they would figure out, obviously I have a lot of wheat in hand, would have traded 4 for 1. So just didn't want to make too many trade offers by indicating what I have. And sure enough, 7 is rolled. He blocks my brick, knowing that I need a brick to build on that settlement spot. And now I build, and I'll go right back at him, see if I can get my brick. Nope, I get my wheat back. Ducky Young plays another knight. So 2 knights, and he blocks the wood, steals from Red. 4 is rolled. That's another sheep, and now I have 8. And sure enough, after I roll over 7, I have to discard. This is the difficulty, as I could have traded all my wheat in for a brick and then hoped for a 8, but it doesn't really matter, you know. Somebody could have blocked the 8, and then I don't have a way of getting wheat. 5 is just ever so slightly less likely than an 8. So I unfortunately got unlucky there. And Red pulled the exact card he needed and was able to build his settlement. So he's the first one to get an expansion, kind of surprisingly, given my potential. All I need is a 5 right here. I've had 2 woods for a long time. I've had a wheat and a sheep for a long time. So really, I'm just waiting on a 5. I could have even, with the right wheats and no 7s, I could have traded in. Now I'm there at 7 cards again, but unfortunately I don't have any way of doing what I need to do. Another 7 is rolled. Luckily I'm not at 8 yet. Steals once again from Red. With only 3 of us, you're obviously more likely to get stolen from more frequently if 7s are rolled a lot. So you kind of have to just accept the fact that might get stolen from a lot. So here's an opportunity where I could trade in all my sheep for a brick. Let's see here. Oh, and of course I don't get the opportunity to even think about it. Let's get rid of all exactly as soon as I got over 7. I get back to this position. Let's see if I can go ahead and try and get that brick again. Nope. There's no brick left. So he has no cards. I'm sure he's getting frustrated because he's getting stolen from. Eight. So now I have 3 wheats, 1 sheep, and 2 woods. More sheep and wood, get out there. 9 is rolled. Okay, now I have another sheep. This is the downside with this starting position, is if you don't get your 5s, your expansion at the beginning really is hurting. So this is usually not the way it works. Usually you're able to get at least 1 or 2 5s to go along with what you've been doing, or you just don't 7 out and you're able to trade in your wheat or sheep to get your expansions, and then you're moving forward much better. Sure enough, as soon as I get over 7 again, third time in a row, I had to comment that was pretty funny because it's 3 times in a row I've got 7'd out, and again wheat and sheep go away. And Mr. Red, if you're paying attention, got a 2. So he's sitting there with 2 ores early in this game. Huge. All he needs is just the potential to trade in to get a city. Now he's got his wheat and brick. He can trade brick for a obviously he can trade for an ore. So let's see. First he's going to try and trade for a wood. What will he offer for wood? I said no right off the bat just because I know he's very close to either getting his expansion or getting a city, and city is very huge. So he's giving off 2 bricks for 1 sheep. I would snap to this deal if it wasn't for the fact that I know what he's getting is a city. What a huge moment right here. I really want this trade. It's a perfect trade for me. I've been 7'd out 3 times already. The problem is I know he's going to trade in that sheep for a ore and ultimately get a city. And sure enough, he got unlucky at now as well. So now he's going to should drop probably 3 sheep and let's see, maybe a brick. Yep, there you go. 3 sheep and a brick. Because now he should have 1 brick left in hand, 2 wheats and 2 ores. And I get 1 of his wheat, which does me no good. I really would have liked to get that 1 brick, obviously, or an ore. Are you guys going to double team me the whole game? So he's getting pissed. Unfortunately, he's trying to play the whiny card that, hey, I've been stolen from so many times, stop stealing from me. The problem is Ducky Young and I have basically nothing to build with. Where he's young, yellow, has no way of getting brick at all. I have ways of getting brick, but I just unfortunately have been unlucky. And the 4th time I've 7'd out as soon as I got too many cards. You're about to get a C. I'm not about to get anything, he says. So this is somebody trying to be super secretive, and the decision is now with all his talking is I'm trying to also realize that, yes, he has been stolen from, and I'm trying to be fair. Am I going to be nice, or am I going to go ahead and steal from him like I should? This is the balance. And I go ahead, and his whining swayed me. For sure it swayed me because I know Ducky Young doesn't have anything I need. There's no reason I should have taken from Ducky Young. It was purely because Red whined, and I should have tried to get from him. That was a complete foolishness on my part, and he did a good job of talking me out of it by whining and crying. Now Ducky Young steps in too because he sees that I was swayed. He knows that his whining has worked. Red is clearly in the lead. Yellow and blue and myself are so far behind. I'm still at the exact same point I was at the beginning of the game, where I have extra sheep and extra wheat, and these 2 woods that are doing nothing for me. Actually, I should probably, now that I think about it, I should have gotten rid of the extra wood, because it does me no good to be sitting here with extra wood. And every time a 5 rolls, then I should be getting both a wood and a brick anyway. So literally dumping the wood would have been a wiser if I was... Finally, I give a trade. I give in to his whininess, and he does exactly what I knew he would do, trading the 4 sheep for his city. I'm not about to get anything. So this is where he now, if it was a 4-player game, he would be targeted, and it would be hard for him to get away with such a blatant lie. Lying that he's not about to get anything, not about to get a city. So I get my settlement, and this was a horrible trade in my part. All of his whining and all of his complaining about getting stolen from so many times allowed him to get this city, and he completely manipulated me with just a few comments. Sure, he was right. I was already feeling bad that we've targeted him the entire game. He has had the only bricks. We both wanted to get the bricks, and he was right at the edge of getting a city. We both were aware of this. So, when you're playing with good players, we're in tune to what's going on. We pay attention to all the cards that everybody is having. And we're especially on this kind of board where it's low ore, it's extremely important to pay attention to every single ore that is out there. If the ore is not being used for development cards, then you need to know who has the ore, because occasionally you're going to either need to try and steal for one particular ore to finish, to complete either a development card or to complete a city. So we get our trade, and sure enough, Red tries to say, you don't know what my card is, because he has a development card sitting there. But him being blocked and not playing the card clearly indicates that it's likely, if it was a year of plenty, he probably would be getting ready to use it by now. So let's see, where am I going to go? I usually like to go to this 812 and get that double up on the wheat, but I've had so much wheat already, and double up on the 12 ore, because ore is so important. I decide to go up to add an extra brick so that my 3s are now doubled up on. So then my 3, every time a 3 is rolled, I get a road. So then a 3 would be a road, and a 5 would be at least 1 road until I make that a city. And the reason I'm trying to expand to roads is because we're playing 3 players. We're playing with a player that already has a city, and sure enough, he gets another 2 to perfectly give him a city. That was nuts. So now we're in real... Because of those perfect rolls, it's going to be very challenging to stop Red. So in this position, knowing that Red is so far ahead right now on a low ore board, he has 2 cities. He has, he doesn't have a port yet. I have to really go out of my way to defend against his setup. So right now, I decide to play a little more aggressive by doing some waiting. I had the opportunity to build a road to start moving in another direction, or I could just wait out and build the settlement. I really need this 3-to-1 port. So, and sure enough, a third 2. He's sitting there with 3 ores and 1 development card, and a 10. Instantly, he has a city in hand. Well, that is clear that this is not going to be our day unless a 7 is rolled. He's got 3 brick, 2 wheat and 3 ore in hand after 2 rolls. Oh, that is just nuts. It's easy to track too. It's not even hard. It's just 2 rolls. And clearly one of them is ore, and you always should be paying attention to ore, like I said, on this particular board. Oh, wow. That was perfect timing. Unfortunately, only 4 cards, and now 1 stolen. And clearly, because he was sitting there with 2 ores, clearly he stole a 3rd ore. You stole 1 ore, good. So I'm kind of bragging a little bit that I was paying attention and show Red that I know exactly what was taken. Now here's where I can either start expanding to get longest road, but I'm eyeing a defensive strategy, and it's one of my preferred strategies to play with as the road builder, as someone who has the propensity to build lots of roads. Now Red has the capabilities to build lots of roads as well. I'm banking on the fact that I can beat him, and +1 we're stealing from him, so I'm hoping that we can take as many bricks away from him as possible so he's not sitting there with any bricks in hand. And what I'm hoping to do is cut his expansion off down at the bottom, which is the reason I decided not to build a longer road around the coast and instead jump in to go to this wheat port. Now, I actually don't care about the wheat port that much. What I care about is blocking his settlement spot down at the bottom. And we continue to roll so many 7s. And he whines again, and I wanted to steal from him, but I decided to be nice. Once again, he is talking me out of it. And now yellow, luckily enough, that was the only one advantage, is it forces him to use his night card. And once again, he steals from Red, who is clearly the leader. Now, I do have 5 points, and I'm 1 road away from longest road, but my setup is not one that is scary on this board. Red is still just 2 roads from having the longest road. He has an easy way. He has 2 cities, and the cities are just so extremely powerful. And that road is huge right there, because I really wanted to block off Red. If I was able to build that 1 extra road and get the settlement at the 6-9, that would have been much, much more powerful. So Orange is doing a good job continuing to attack Red and block him, hold him down for a little bit. He is very, very far ahead still. And there's just been so many 7s. It's just a very strange game. I was really hoping to have some more 5s by now. He's about to get, so Red is continuing to whine. I'm admitting that, I'm saying I'm dead, even though I do feel like I have a chance. But the truth is that I'm far behind, just because my ability to get a city is just hurting so bad. So continue to go after Red, and basically with his lie, it kind of opened the door. Him saying, "Oh, I'm not about to get anything. I could." I'm within my rights to continue to attack this guy all day. And yep, sure enough, he's losing all his cards. I can almost picture him in his house just screaming, throwing things at the wall, getting so mad. Finally, a 5 is rolled. I could have used that a while back. Now I have 2 roads in hand. 2 roads in hand at this point actually doesn't do me any good. I'd love to get another 5. Nope. And now I'm sitting here with pretty much not a lot of options. The only option I have is, because I have my wheat port, I can wait. I can build 2 roads, to try and block. So what I need to do is I have to defend against red's potential to get longest road. And so unfortunately I have to waste some roads in order to just block his connection. And now only because I built this longest road, all of a sudden I remind also Orange, even though I did make a mistake and pick from him once, that he should still be attacking red. So can't do anything again. Knight is played one more time. He's had 5 knights. And luckily my little whining worked. So whining is certainly a strategy that I'm not a fan of. Look at this guy. I'm not a big fan of cursing, and he's but this is where it's kind of like you can imagine somebody being pushed over the edge. They've been attacked. I didn't count, but it's been a lot. At least 5 knights have been played. Tons of 7s. So I go ahead and I trade for my ore now, and I think to myself, is it time to just sit and wait? And I decide to go and buy a development card, and I get a perfect development card for this board. This is going to allow me to get my city. 5 is rolled, 5 was blocked. 11 is rolled. That's a good one because now I know Orange has 2 ore and he already played his turn. Unfortunately, red expands to the sheep port. That was a challenge. So I really did not want him to get a port. Now we're in big trouble. It's basically GG. So I get enough to get me a city because I know I can just grab the 2 ore. And I monopolize the 2 ore. And what I do is where should I build? I have my wheat port. Or do I take over just building lots of roads? I decide. Let's see what I decide. Or do I do the 10, 9, 12 and hope that a few ores come? I decide to go kind of different route, and in essence, I'm trying to make a comeback by getting lucky with the 12 since the 2s have been rolling. So I decided to go ahead and block red. And 6s. 6s are no bueno. That gives red a free card. It gives gives yellow 1 free card and a wood. He's still very, very behind. So right now, my chances are extremely, extremely slim. 10s are no good. So good for red. So red, even though I blocked that 1 connection, red still has an easy way to connect their settlements. Again. That's 10 cards and 2 rolls to red. He plays another knight. Builds a road. He's got tons of bricks. He only stole 1 of them. And again, red is whining. He's beating me by 2 points. He's whining that he's getting stolen from. And he's hiding the fact that he has 2 development cards and he doesn't again play them. Clearly, I'm sitting here with the difference here now. Here's where the advanced players, so he shows that he has a road building, but what what is so obvious about this is I'm sitting there with 7 roads. He is only 3 roads away from taking the longest road he can connect to, right in the middle there, with his connecting his settlements. So clearly, if he does that, he's going to add 2 more points and ultimately steal the longest road. And I've done this so many times to other players that I'm so very aware of it. It's the challenge of being the road player is that you get out in a lead with the road building, and then players start to attack you, and you don't have a lot of defense because you're very susceptible to being blocked by other players who are doing the knights and building cities. So if you're playing with good players, luckily road building is a potential that you can still work with and win, but you have to unfortunately do a lot of coaxing of people to do the right plays. And in this instance, even though I'm ahead with 8 points, there's no way I'm actually in the lead because my potential to jump from 8 to 10 is awful. So unfortunately, I have to keep wasting roads to defend against an easy victory. I could have sat around and tried to build a city, and if I did that, red would just simply connect and it would be game over. He's sitting there with at least 1 city in hand. I'm sorry, at least 1 point card in hand with his settlement. I'm sorry, with his development cards. So I go ahead and block the shore path of him just building 3 roads and then ultimately win. So slowed him down for just a little bit. And then he's, of course, trying to stop me from building roads. So what does he decide to do? He decides to go down the bottom. And clearly, he's realizing that I'm going all out to stop him. And in this particular moment, I decide that I gotta double check how many roads I have. So I count, and of course I only have 15 roads available to you. So this is going to be my last 2 roads, and I decide, how do I want to use these? Do I want to expand to 8 roads? I'm sorry, to 9 roads, or do I want to go ahead and block him? Because there's no real place I can expand to 9 roads. So because of that, I could only build up to 8 roads down at the bottom there. And 8 would not be enough. He could still outdo me. So I decide to block him one more time with my road building. And this is where road building can be just super annoying. When you have the capability to build roads and you can block people's potential, it irritates. It can be such a nuisance. So red gives in and goes another route, but clearly they are still sitting in a good situation. 9 is rolled. They get sheep. They get 2 woods. And this is probably going to be a good game. Unfortunately, there's just no way I can do anything right now to catch up in time. Yellow is sitting with 2 development cards. He could have 9 points. An 11 is rolled. Ooh, that's huge for yellow. But unfortunately, this is a good game. I'm going to go ahead and just... Okay, let's see what happens. 3 is rolled. 3 gives me just a road, but roads are no good for me. I don't have any way of building roads. So basically my option is just to start collecting some ore. And I'll go ahead and move on. I've given away my opportunity of winning this game by making that last road go towards red 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know that I needed to do that. Oh, I counted. Yep, he could have built 8. So the reason I did that inward is because he could have built 2 roads and it would have given him the longest road. And so that meant that I had to block him. Otherwise, he would have easily just built 2 roads, which he did build 2 roads upwards. If he built those 2 roads to extend his longest road, it would have surpassed me. So I had to go ahead and block his expansion there. Otherwise, he would have just built 2 roads to build longest road. But we're kind of waiting for the inevitable. Good game. I go ahead and give him. That was a unique game. I'd say I gave away my opportunities to win by playing so much road defense. One of the rare times that I don't really try to win. So I lose some elo, and this guy gains a little bit of elo. He's right around my level. No big deal, but he was whining from the beginning and lying about what he's trying to build. He's playing with, he thinks he's playing with rookie players. 23 times 7 was rolled. That's just absurd. Hilarious. 23 out of these 100 rounds. So I think it's roughly 17% that 7 gets rolled. Should be. So out of 100 rolls, should be 17 times. So, I mean, it's not insanely high. It's about 6 over what it should be. But it did, it delayed the game longer than it should have been.